As you're getting up this morning and maybe the to-do list is already starting to call your name, or for sure the kids are like, Mom, Dad, it's time for this. Can we just stop and spend a little time with the morning focus this morning, a time to remember who God is and who God says you are? Hosea 2:14 says, "Therefore I am now going to allure her. I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her."
The her in this verse is Israel, because this nation had a tendency of getting distracted with other gods, other nations, and pulling off. And God's like, no. I'm going to woo her. I'm going to remind her why she loves me.
Well, the good news is we don't get distracted like that at all.
Never. Oh, yeah, no.
Of course, if you're anything like me, you go through those seasons where you're totally distracted.
Right, and so my perspective gets zoned in on other things, and then I find myself not feeling as much zeal for God. Or do you ever look around at other believers and you're like, wow, I wish I was as passionate about God as you are, and I don't even know how I would get there.
Yeah, if you're like me, you can get to a place of feeling almost neutral towards God. Sure, I believe in him and I'm really not upset with him, but I just don't have that that on fire feeling that maybe I once had.
When I've been in these seasons, it's like I've found myself looking back on highly emotional moments and feeling like those were the good days, and I got to get myself back to that place, which anytime you're doing that, it's putting a square peg in a round hole.
The one thing that I think that we're missing in that season, thankfully, is just a connection to God, feeling close to him.
My chronic trap when I'm recognizing that there's something wrong with my relationship with God is to go, okay, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to solve it so I can get back on track with God. So when it's feeling like there's missing connection, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to fix it.
And that's something you don't have to do. That's what I love about this verse. It's so cool because God is saying, no, I desire a relationship with you and I will draw you in.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much better than having to muster that up yourself because it can feel so overwhelming. Instead, I've started asking God, hey, could you remind me why I love you? Or can you help me see how awesome you are? Because I'm struggling to see that, which feels real sketchy to say to the God of the universe. But he does that. He's so faithful to remind you and show you and woo you to himself.